And on the other side, you have the guy running in New York, Mamdani, right? Okay, who's like a straight up communist. I mean, he is. He talks about, the things that communists say. I mean, he wants free grocery stores, free buses.
It's hilarious watching Bill Maher get completely outplayed on *Zohran star. The late-night provocateur took aim at the ultra-progressive New York senator, joking that her win looked more like a conservative campaign ad than a liberal triumph. Maher's takedown is sharp, relentless, and wickedly funny. Blink and you'll miss the chaos. Grab some popcorn for this one. Yeah.
Who's the most popular politician on the left?
AOC?
One of, but who's Bernie? Bernie is
Bernie, yeah.
Bernie is. I mean, he's not a capitalist.
No, he's not, and he's also not president.
He's not. But
and never would be.
But neither is Mamdani.
Yeah. No, but he will. Trust me, he will be featured in the campaign commercials.
They're going to feature people. They boogeyman everybody.
Yeah, but you don't have to boogeyman him. He does it to himself.
At first glance, the pitch wears a utopian shine. But once the glossy promises and cover story slogans start to crack, the dream quickly curdles into something darker. Dreamers might still swoon, sure, but for anyone who's watched socialist experiments collapse before, it feels less like progress and more like déjà vu. Every 20 years, it seems, the same idealism returns wearing a new smile. Socialism always sounds noble, right up until it collides with human nature. People thrive on challenge and incentive, not in forced equality.
It's must be horrible for a guy like you, who spent your whole life talking about how government tries to do too much, which it does, and spends too much. Here you have Trump, who is a Republican, who is aggrandizing more power than anybody, as we just talked about. And on the other side, you have the guy running in New York, Mamdani, right? Okay, who's like a straight up communist. I mean, he is. He talks about, the things that communists say. I mean, he wants free grocery stores, free buses.
I want him to win.
You want him to win?
Yeah.
When competition disappears, innovation withers and bureaucracy takes over. History shows that when governments control everything, progress grinds to a halt. Mamdani's promises of justice may look inspiring on paper, but in practice, they deliver shared frustration, not shared prosperity. Britain stands as a sobering example. In the early 20th century,
I think every 20 years or so,
Wait.
we need every 20 years or so we need a conspicuous, confined experiment with socialism so we can crack it up again. Socialism slogan used to be, workers of the world unite, you have nothing to lose but your chains. The new socialist slogan is, trust us, this time it won't be a mess.
the nation eagerly embraced socialist ideals, promising fairness, shared wealth, and equal opportunity for all. It seemed bold, even compassionate. But over time, the industries the state absorbed were strangled by bureaucracy. The grand vision faded as the economy faltered, productivity fell, and prices soared. The equality so passionately pursued didn't lift people up. It pulled nearly everyone.
When post-war Labour government in Britain was about to get started, one of their leading lights was a socialist named Nurian Bevan. He said, what could go wrong? He said, we have a nation bedded on coal, surrounded by freedom. It would take an organizational genius to have a shortage of either. In 3 years, they had a shortage of both.
Down. By the 1970s, Britain had earned the grim title of the sick man of Europe. Only when Thatcher introduced market-driven reforms did the country begin to shake off its stagnation and recover its strength. Zohran Mamdani risks pushing Democrats off the political map and alienating the moderates who actually decide elections. Maher warns that by diving into polarizing issues like gender policy, Mamdani could reignite the very culture wars Americans are exhausted by. To pragmatists, his agenda looks less courageous than careless, handing Republicans the perfect storyline. That Democrats have lost touch with reality, there's no sugarcoating it. Trump doesn't need to paint Mamdani as a radical, he's doing that himself. The theatrics come naturally to him. His calls for government
beyond saying that we're going to make the sanctuary city for LGBTQIA plus new workers, beyond saying that we're going to establish an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs, is also that we're going to provide $65 million in funding for gender affirming care, the same amount of funding the federal government threatened to pull out from local providers for that kind of work.
Run grocery stores and free citywide transportation would hand the state sweeping control over everyday life. Though he calls himself a democratic socialist, his tone and policies lean unmistakably far left. It's the perfect setup for Republicans. Proof, they'll say, that Democrats are drifting toward full-fledged socialism, good intentions aside. And let's be honest, if it talks and
he has attacked you personally and publicly like this.
He's not a socialist. He's a communist, okay? This is not a socialist, man. This is a communist. I don't like to see a communist become mayor, I will tell you that. I call him my little communist. He's my little communist mayor. We should never be in a position where we're talking about communists. We're going to end up with a communist man. It's not even believable, my beautiful New York. I think if a communist takes over New York City, I think that's a gift to the Republican Party.
walks like a duck, you know what it is history has already tested and failed. Mahdi's repeated promises of universal justice and prosperity. Her message may sound fresh, but when idealism collides with power, innovation falters and enterprise suffocates. America's strength has always come from freedom and ambition, not enforced equality. Maher surely knows that betting against that formula never ends differently, and never ends well. It's a familiar playbook. Emotional stories dressed up as innovation to win hearts. The Democrats' identity-driven narrative fits perfectly with the polished, poetic image of Zohran.
This vision of a democratic socialism, it's one that often comes back to what Martin Luther King said decades ago. A vision, or call it democracy or call it democratic socialism, there must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. Here in New York City, wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, 1 in 4 are in poverty. 500,000 kids go to sleep hungry every night. It's untenable to live with this kind of a divide. We have to actually have a politics that puts working people.
Zohran Mamdani. But beneath the elegance lies stagecraft, not substance. To realists, it's performance politics at its finest. Moving, artful, and ultimately hollow. Look a little closer, and Zohran Mamdani's polished origin story starts to lose its shine. But in deep blue New York, the rules are different. Fisher looks poised to take office regardless of how flimsy his narrative.
I want to speak to the memory of my aunt, who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
Well, it wasn't so much his aunt as his dad's cousin, but, semantics. Douglas, is he ready to lead?
No, in absolutely no way is he ready to lead, and that was just another reminder of it. This is such a self-involved little narcissist with so little going for him.
Maybe. Because loyalty often outweighs facts. Winning isn't the real question here. The real test comes when campaign rhetoric collides with the brutal reality of running one of the world's most unpredictable cities. Slogans are easy. Governing New York is anything but. Watching Mamdani shoulder that burden will be telling. His rise isn't a
That he even decides to turn the memory of 9/11 and the 3,000 Americans of that day into a story about his aunt and the subway. It's interesting, like so many things that this smarmy candidate does, he makes it about himself and it all turns out to be untrue anyway. Seen to the extent that he had any such aunt in question, she wasn't in New York at the time, and in any case, didn't wear the headscarf.
A milestone of progress. It's a cautionary tale. Beneath the smooth talk and sugar-coated socialist ideals lies an ideology history has consistently warned against. Maher's alarm bells are ringing for a reason. If Mamdani steers New York down that path, the fallout won't stop at City Hall. It could reshape the entire Democratic brand. That's it for today's breakdown. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.